my veterans on. This is Canyon. You'll see at the start of the game, Bernodi will push north up to D4. Look in the upper right-hand corner of your map, you'll see a mini-map. D4 is the fourth quadrant up. NF team will push east. North is up, east is right. They'll push a squad south to try to get some resources. Build a barracks south and barracks north. And then there'll be a huge skirmish in the corner, right where BE has dropped their barracks, right at this corner here. So you got two skirmishes, you got two choke points. Top right, bottom left. It's in the bottom left that NF has already got, Northern Faction has already got their barracks up. BE is putting theirs up, just finished. And you get to fight in the woods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the engineers. Somebody who I think is a good engineer, so you can see what they do. Your control, while you inspect, you can watch any player. So one of the good engineers, let's take a look at let's see. So what will happen is they'll tend to push the engineer at the beginning of the game, and you'll see right now they switch to grenadier and rifleman to hold the location that they're at. As a new player, you should probably stay engineer. What a good engineer will do is he'll drop walls for the grens to shoot from behind and drop ammo. You'll see BE is being overrun in the south because they do not have good support. That's what BE is doing in the north. The alpha team tends to be the better of the squads, and they tend to push the hardest point, which is the north. Both alpha teams would be fighting. And in the north, BE is winning, but in the south, NF is winning. So let's look at Donut Waffles. He's supporting the north team. And from a first-person perspective, he's healing. He's dropping ammo. He has put walls down. A good engineer will enable the team to win. And as a new player, that would be the first thing that you would be. So learning how to be a good engineer is really important. An engineer does not push the front lines. He stays with the squad. He supports them. Alright, so it does look like NF is holding their own in the south. They probably pushed more players down there. The north may have been unbalanced. See, they haven't built the refinery in the north. They haven't taken E5 yet. One engineer should always run over there. If you're a new player, always keep an eye on the yellow dots. They're very important to get resources. So one player, even if you're not good at shooting, can spawn from this barracks by hitting enter, choose a new spawn location, which will show up as a red dot, run up here and type ref E5 or say ref E5 and the commander will drop it for you. If he doesn't drop it, he's busy, and you just keep saying ref E5 every 10 or 20 seconds. With your team. You can see these guys are doing a good job. The engineer is feeding the grens. A gren is worthless without ammo. They're also very susceptible to rifle fire. The comm is supporting them, or potentially an engineer dropped that and didn't build it. If the comm is looking from overhead and it drops you things, drops you buildings, you can always ask for an armory. That's another way of supporting your troops. He's doing a really good job of overrunning in the north. And NF is doing a good job of overrunning in the south. NF is dangerously close to the BE base. And BE has a slight advantage if they take advantage of it, which is the hill up at E3, which the commander's already taken advantage of. He's got a barracks up here. He's got a radar. Your team has to hold him off until he's able to build this area up. It's very difficult for them to get into that spot. But NF is doing a good job of it. The E commander knows that this little hiding spot down at C2 is very important to the NF team. They'll typically put a barracks up there and spawn their team from that barracks to overrun the base. So what he did was he put his own barracks there and his own refinery to support that area. Let's see who the commander is. Cairo. And faction commander. So they're going to be able to hold them off for long enough to enable BE to get that base up. Both commanders right now are doing research to enable good vehicles to be pushed when they have enough money and done enough research. BE's doing a good job in the north of pushing through, but they're not up. A critical choke point here for BE is to get up to C5. That's the top middle of the map. Remember, whenever anybody says C5, C4, look at the mini map in the upper right hand corner. You can see both teams are dropping walls to support their teams. Riflemen will be good at shooting down grenadiers and engineers. Engineers can do revives. So if one of the riflemen or grenadier dies, you can revive them, or another engineer dies. The destroyer is not running out and dying like a lot of noobs will do. He's supporting Grant people who can fight back that approaching supply. So we did get overrun. Spawn at the closest location to the fighting. You keep an eye on your mini-map. After looking at the upper left-hand corner, NF commander is building that yellow circle. That is your vehicle factory for NF. And let's go see what BE is doing. They got the vehicle factory down already. Noobs should not jump in commander spot until they learn. It tends to take quite a long time to learn how to be a good commander. You need to know all the maps, where things should go, all the research and tactics. And it takes quite a while of playing before you jump in a command vehicle. You can practice it. It's interesting to practice on that map. Let's see, we've got BE's got quite a high kill ratio, so I'd say they got a better team. They're doing better at just about everything. Less tickets used, more kills. So it doesn't think BE is going to win this unless NF can pull a trick out of their hat. So one of the tricks they'll start thinking about soon is to kill the commander. Because the game is won by killing the commander. It doesn't matter how many points you get. And the commander's job is to defend against that kill. So he's fairly exposed right now. There's no turrets in the BE base. No defenses here at all. If somebody were to rush in there, we would have a very hard time. All we can do is wait for his team to come back and help him. It takes time to get that base up, so an early push would enable you to put that commander at stress and keep him from doing research. And the same goes for NF. NF has very little defenses. He's relying on your team to push the opposing team back. NF is smart enough to build a C5 base, just like in the bottom left-hand corner, on C2. BE built the base to keep NF from getting in there, and NF built the base up at C5 to keep the enemy from building a base up there. If the enemy were to build a base here, they could shoot the whole base from this wall right here. So as BE, your job is to get up to C5, try to get over this wall. If you're an engineer, you drop a wall and ammo, and let your grens shoot down the base. It's an endgame tactic. BE's just slightly ahead right now. They have most of the south. NF is doing a good job of trying to hold up in B1. B1's very difficult to maintain. So BE is addressing the bottom left-hand corner. They've already shot down the barracks. Now they're just doing mop-up. And they've got more people on their team pushing that area to keep NF from getting a hold of any significant spots. There's a refinery up here, which is very important for money. Later on, we want to push tanks. The commander's doing a really good job of putting up support for his team, and that means dropping armories so grenadiers and teammates can go in and get ammo and heals. If you look, there's two containers in there. There's a plus on one, that's for heals. The other one is for ammo. And grens are right now loading up. You hit the E key over each one of those. You can see a good tactic is to dance back and forth between them, and you'll get both at the same time. And these guys are pushing an attack in a jeep. So they're going to rush right into the base. There's no sense playing defensively, and the new players tend to play very defensively. You didn't make it, but the attack is appropriate. If you play defensively, you lose. If you stay in your base and put up walls and sit there, you lose. You need to keep pushing forward. And you'll see that on both teams. They're never going to give up. They're going to keep. NF is not just going to sit back and play defensively. They're going to keep pushing, even though NF is losing. Commander's job to give them the support that they need. So you can see over here the commander is attempting to drop them. The yellow smoking building means it's not built. As an engineer, you would spawn somewhere, you'd find that yellow dot. If you look in C4 on your mini-map, there's a yellow person right next to my white arrow, and there was an engineer in there building it. The job is to build that barracks so your teammates can spawn there. And then you rush out. And you see what action's going on. If you're being attacked, you drop a wall, drop ammo, and you start shooting an opponent or healing the teammates that are doing that. Alright, you see Blue Sky coming up to the barracks. He's a rifleman. Rifleman's really not capable of taking down a building. All he's going to be able to do is go in and kill anybody that's trying to build it. So he's not even going to stay there and try to attack that building. He's just going to run right through it. You can't really take down any buildings, which is why riflemen are really just a support for grens and engineers. They can't build anything, they can't take down buildings, but they're very good at shooting people. And let's see, Blue Sky. They might have high kill counts, but that's not necessarily going to help the team. Grens and engineers can take down buildings. I want to find an engineer that's done a good job of taking down a building, so you can see how it's done. I think grens are more of an advanced player than any of the other players. To become a good gren, it takes a long time to learn how to aim properly. Grant Thor is a very good gren. You can see he's never standing still. He's always moving. That way, if anybody does see him, they'll see where the missile's coming from. They'll shoot in that area. He won't be there. You don't just sit still and shoot. Keep moving. So here's an opponent. Campbell's a very good player. He's a friend. He's on the same team now. Hoping to find someone that would oppose the NF team pushing in the north. So NF is fighting back very well in the north. They still got the commander would probably drive over to E5 and build that refinery, giving them support by dropping them a barracks. So you see there's a gren there, and he looks like he's building it. He can hold the E key, even though you're not an engineer. And it takes a lot longer to build a building, but it does help. And if there's nothing else that he can do, he might as well help build that building. Normally he would have attacked, but maybe he didn't have any ammo. He should have been attacking that guy who took the building down. And the engineer should have been building the barracks, but that's what happened. Okay, so this is an APC, and it can get what we call UGL, upgraded grenade launcher, and you can shoot grenades at buildings and people. An excellent attack method early game, some say all throughout the game. So they know this map very well, and they know there's a refinery and probably a radar up there, so they're just going to spam grenades up over that wall. Now, if I was on BE, I would have built the wall up on that edge, so I couldn't do that. So you have to look at starving your opponent, so they can't push better vehicles at you. That means taking down the refineries. You can see they're doing that very well. NF is making a good comeback. It's an excellent game. Put down ammo and throw grenades at the opponent's building. I wouldn't normally be that close, but it's going to work. And that's how engineers are excellent at taking down buildings. You can build a missile turret. The missile turret will shoot at anything in the area that's an opponent, including the building. Throw grenades. And you can see, he's not just sitting still, he's moving. He's using his calculator because he ran out of grenades. Oh, didn't quite get it. EE Russian APCs. APCs are excellent at those AFVs. They're very good at shooting at the APC rush. The commander and the EE team is rebuilding the base. I was trying desperately not to lose his vehicle factory. He's got some defenses up, got a wall so you can't just drive in there. EE's doing a counter push, very aggressive. So they have a little bit of a push up here at C4. And I think they have a pretty good stronghold up here. Support from the grens to take out the vehicles that are pushing. Leone is one of the best, in my opinion, grenadiers. Let's watch through his eyes. See what it's like to be Leone. So as a gren, what you can do is you can fire a missile and you can hold down the left button and steer it. You can see him steering it there. He's putting it right on the APC. If you just fire and forget, it's just going to drive in a straight line. Now this is a mortar, not a missile. It's a different weapon. See, he didn't wait for it to reload. He shot two very rapidly. When he's running, he's going to let it reload. So now he's got two in the chamber. One for mortar and one for missile. This is what I love about Leone. He doesn't just fire once and then sit back and wait for it to reload. He'll fire his missile, Then he'll take out his pistol or his mortar and he'll fire that as well. And he lets him reload when he's no longer in a battle. That guy's great. And they're getting ammo and health and armory. Defended C5 all by himself. Lots of good players playing today. Let's see what else we got. As you can see, it's difficult to get a proper aim with the mortar, but very powerful. Shooting it at people. Ranker Thor right there has got, probably got squad lead. He's using squad points to squad RD the opponent commander. And what that means is, as squad leader, your team gets points for every kill that they make. And you can use those points. If you're an engineer, you can do squad heals. You can do squad revives. It takes 6 points for a squad revive, 3 points for a squad heal. As a gren, you can do different things, and you should look at those, okay? And you read the wiki, it will tell you what each type of player can do. So, very powerful for a gren to use squad party. And that's the message you saw earlier, dropping down from the sky. Notice is one scout on NF and one scout on DE. Not very many players will push scout. They're not a very strong unit. They're a tactical unit that only veterans will use. Most new players think they should be pushing a scout because they'll sit back and shoot long distance with a sniper rifle. That does not help the team at all. And they're just labeled the noob and no one will pay any attention to them. Donut Waffle here. He's got another excellent player. He's an engineer. He dropped ammo and a wall for metal sand to be able to defend this area. One good player can defend this whole slot if he's supported by an engineer. The engineer is protecting the gren. He can't heal himself unless he's squad leader. Very good at taking down buildings. You see him throwing grenades. Grenades will not hurt people or vehicles. So if you're an engineer, it's useless throwing grenades at people or vehicles. Just if you're an engineer and you see a vehicle coming towards you, the best thing you can do is stop him by dropping a wall in front of him or dropping a turret in front of him. He'll stop dead in his tracks. And one of your grens will kill him. So throwing grenades takes 3 grenades to take down a turret. Throwing grenades at that machine gun turret over there. Gren is missing it. He's thrown a little bit too far. Gren got it. Staying back, he's doing a really good job as engineer. CDE is now taking ownership of the north. Interesting, there's probably a scout at B5 that's really fast. Scouts are useful for spotting buildings for the team. An engineer. Okay. So Flat Mush is kind of a new player, and he's just sitting there with his pistol, trying to shoot anybody who comes out. And let's see, maybe 9 kills in some building. rifleman would be more effective down there. So there's a lot of players on. It's very difficult for them to win rapidly on a 16 versus 16. 16 versus 15. But very diligently they're building refineries. Somebody would be surprised if somebody doesn't show up at A3 here in a few seconds. Ready to drop the refinery, waiting for someone to build it. It's probably telling them, get over there, build that refinery. They need that refinery for money. For resources, and that enables you to push more vehicles. Nice. B is doing a good job of overwhelming NF. Thing you could do as an engineer, hopefully they do that here so I can show you. So once you kill a vehicle, you can jump out of your vehicle and you put your calculator on it and you get those resources for money for your team. A heavy tank is worth 350 to 375 resources. Creeper is a very good player. He's a scout. His score is pretty low. Scouts don't make a lot of points for this file. But they're very good. What the scout can do is they can sneak into the base. You can get next to a building unseen. Pull the EQ down and it will sabotage it to 50% and it will start dropping until it finally blows up. So PE has gotten a vehicle into NF space, overwhelming them with it down to the radar, barracks, and vehicle factory. There's one more barracks up. Smart move for the NF commander to build 2 barracks. And the team should be streaming out of there to help try to get that base back. Commander screaming, we're losing main base. It doesn't make any sense to keep your push going on. So once you lose main base, it's over in most cases. Baker did get in there. Looks like purple smoke coming out of some of the buildings, so he did sabotage it, which makes the effort a lot easier for other teammates to take down the base.
Here they come! Take cover!
Took ownership of the NF base. NF is a team without a home. They could be dropping barracks and trying to get buildings up in a much more susceptible area. VE will not allow them to do that. You can see VE aggressively is building the base northeast, so they don't have as long a drive to get up there. Keep the attack, keep the pressure on. Another thing that new players do that hurt teams is they push vehicles over and over and over again, and it costs the team a lot of money. So if you don't know how to drive a tank, you really should only use one tank in a game. If you don't know how to use a tank, you really shouldn't push it. So that green smoke coming out of that tank is called bile. It's good for killing people and for damaging vehicles. This building right here is a repair factory. Once you run out of ammo or you're damaged, you can drive up there and it will put armor back onto your tank and it will add ammunition. If you're running out of ammunition, you have to request an engineer to drop it, or you have to get on a repair facility or sit next to an armory. The armory will do it. The armory will not repair your tank, but the repair station will. NF attempting to get a foothold in the bottom left-hand corner. We got one player down there. Should be dropping the guards there. Should get used to the symbols as well. The dollar sign is a resource point. It's built. If it's yellow, it's unbuilt. The gear symbol is the vehicle factory. The person-looking building is the barracks. And X is a repair station. And if you're in a tank and you're damaged, you really need to know that. You need to find that X and you need to screen for an engineer. Most players will not drop what they're doing just to help you within their own push. Engineers, a good engineer will always repair a tank though. Always drop ammo next to a tank. A much more valuable resource than just a person who's screaming for repair. Quick end of game right here. Even though NF is pushing up, pushing down from their base that EZO established up here. Now he must have squad revived. Game over. Good game. Good job, Destroyer. Saturn and Moon. And Toxin.